You know what time it is. You know what time it is.
How firm thy friendship. Oh,
you know what time it is. Raw with them boys of the fall. You know what time it is. On the ground with a nose for the ball. You know what time it is. Blood, sweat, and them tears for this game. Leaving it all out on the field with no fear for you lames. Buckeyes by a billion. We in the building with over 100,000. We represent from the uttermost to the public housing. If we don't play, our wide receivers got your secondary shook, so they cook them like Bobby Flay. Hey, stay out of my way and trust me, cause I know it's OH. Somebody please give this brother an IO. Come on.
What up, Buckeye Nation? Welcome to the Buckeye Boys, where we talk college football with real fans. I'm Devin. Another day of Michigan trouble, Michigan drama. It's never going to end. It's kind of wild because I know there's going to be some fans. Hey, let's talk about this game we got coming up. We got a long time to do that. Got a lot of Ohio State stuff to dive into. But this is still the hot topic, man. A lot of things going on, things still coming out as a result of this, the implications that this can have on their recruiting class, already hearing all kinds of stuff. They've already lost one recruit. What players are going to leave? How is this going to impact the future of their program? Is their athletic director? Is he going to be fired? Is he still going to be here? What's going to go on there? We're going to dive into that tonight. Before we get started, need you to do something. Need you to hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button as well. And super chats are open. I have a very special guest. Everybody knows who he is. Somebody that has been on top of all of their scandals, all of their shenanigans, all of their scummery that they've got going on. If you're on Twitter, this is my go-to place. If I hear something is going on in Michigan and I want to know what's going on, I go to Intrinsic's Twitter page. I know y'all do as well. But everybody, let's welcome Intrinsic back on the show. What's up, my brother?
Hey, Intrinsic sign. So there's another scandal, right? I'm doing good. How about you? It seems like it's every like few weeks something new with these guys. It's insane.
Yeah, it really is, man. And I just want to start off by saying, listen, we know there's two sides to this thing, right? There's the family side and there's the football side. The family side, very sad. Prayers for his family and other people that are affected by this. And, hopefully, Chiron can, turn the ship and start living a better life out of this. But we're going to be focused on the football side tonight because this is the seventh coach that's been arrested. I mean, going back to 2015, and there's all kind of names we can bring up right now. And we know the saga that's been going on there for 3 years. And this just happened last night. So we're just starting to hear a bunch of reactions from their fans, the Portnoys, the Don Thomas, all these people are coming out with their reactions of this story, man. But I have yet, me and you've been messaging back and forth, but yet to get your reaction based off this. So just start us off, man. When you first heard this, tell us leading up to this, because you were kind of there, right, with the Spiro reporting. You came on with me. We talked about it a little bit, what he was reporting, and we're like, hey, we got to be careful, what's going on here. We don't know what has come out. Well, it's come out now. There's a bunch of, alleged things that people are reporting on, man. Intrinsic, give me your take with what is going on inside the Michigan program right now.
Yeah, I mean, my first thing, it was exciting when it kind of first broke out, because we've been telling you this. People have been trying to say that I'm mentally ill, Spiro's mentally ill. I mean, Spiro's been working on this story for months, as your audience knows. And I kind of fell into it on December 1st, basically, when Michigan began leaking the rumors. They came from within inside Michigan. And then so that's when I start hearing it, because I got sources and I have a lot of connections with people in there covering them this long. And so I started hearing about it, but I'm like, I'm not going to talk about it because I don't have the proof, right? To me, it's a rumor. I trust Spiro's reporting because he's, as we know, he's dead on. But the other thing that happened, and which we went over, is you had Michael Spath, he's the guy, when he talks, everyone listens. Like Chris Blas is the name that everyone sees. He's the fun guy to pick on. But Michael Spath is like the adult in the room. When he talks, you listen. And he basically said this was going to happen within 10 days. And so that's what I posted. I'm like, he's got 10 days. So I put together the Spiros and that. And so it happened. Everyone was calling me mentally ill and Spiro mentally ill. Uh, and it's just like, I was elated. But then, right, immediately after, like it felt like it happened just like that, we hear about this arrest and it's just a tragedy. So I went from this like high of like being elated, like, oh, we were proven right, to, oh my gosh, like someone could have died. And now he's getting arrested, right? And so I don't know, is this that up and down feeling? I mean, I don't have a lot of sympathy for him, but I do pray, for his wife and his children and that he finds, a better way of doing life. But this to me is just another symptom of that university. It's not, it lacks control. It lacks an adult in the room. When the NCAA completely messed up with these guys, they should have sanctioned them to where Warde Manuel and Chiron Moore shouldn't have been able to coach, right? He should have got a 2-year show cause he could not coach on. And had that happen, guess what? None of this would happen. I mean, this has been the history of the NCAA. These are why these rules are in place, because it happens from time to time. Athletic departments, they break the rules. They step over the line, and when they do, you're supposed to have a governing body that brings them back in. So really, it's just, we're going to continue seeing these things out of Michigan so long as the leadership's in place, the media apparatus is in place that enables it, because no one in there tells the truth. And you just get scandal after cover up. And just right now, as we're breaking, some of you might have just seen this, Michigan's essentially lawyered up. They're lawyered up. They're saying we acted swift, we acted decisive, and their stance is, we investigated a little bit back months ago, and we had no credible evidence. But now they said someone came forward with irrefutable evidence, and then we had to act, and we acted swift and decisively. And you all can form your opinion about that. But there is, so I posted on mine, and if you scroll down my Twitter feed, so that's just basically their lawyer statement for you guys there. It's a bunch of words. They're basically saying, here's our lawyer, we acted swift and decisive, nada yada. So there's Balas. So he's like a mouthpiece. There's Balas saying, if you read right there, he's saying he doesn't trust that the higher ups did not know. So that's Chris Balas dissenting. So he says, how did we know? And everybody else know, but Michigan's higher ups didn't. I'm not buying it, right? And he said that Moore told the team last week he was under investigation, and that players and parents, so this will get into our other topic today, but players and parents have been reaching out, asking questions. So this became such a rumor that players and parents were reaching out like, hey, is this true? Because, I mean, he was following over 300 OnlyFans models and stuff like that. I didn't know all that stuff. But word had gotten around. And so everybody seemed to have known, right? So keep scrolling down. So there's Balas. I'm sure, save your audience hearing him talk, right? But I think play the beginning of, if you're allowed to. Are you allowed to on here? The next one down. So play the Rich Eisen one. I think that's really important for you guys. So I want you, before you listen to this, Michigan is saying Michigan is saying they acted swift and decisively, right? That they had, and I want you to listen to him and what he says here.
I will just say this, and
that's
this may
interesting.
Have something to do
I can't hear
with
it. It's not.
as well.
I can hear it.
It took no less than 90 minutes after Ohio State thumped the University of Michigan in the Big House just a couple of Saturdays ago. It took no fewer than 90 minutes for me to hear the rumor about this. No fewer than 4 times from 4 different people. Calling me up, texting me, did you hear this? Did you know that? What do you know about this? And the rumor so nasty.
You could stop it there.
You know what's wild, bro? I can't hear nothing.
Can the chat hear it?
Yeah. Everybody can hear it. Yeah.
Okay. So
I can read
chat,
though, so we're good.
So everyone in the chat, he's telling you within 90 minutes after Ohio State put a thumping, his words, on Michigan, that he got texts from four times from 4 different people telling him about Chiron Moore and this affair. So how in the world is Rich Eisen know before the people at Michigan, right? How does Spiro know before the people at Michigan? How does seemingly random people on the internet know, but not the higher ups at Michigan? And that's the line they're taking. So that's the line they're taking. I think that's interesting. But if you also scroll down, even Josh Pate, right? So okay, that's Rich Eisen. Okay, maybe he's not telling the truth. But you look at the quote tweet, so it's under the So here's Josh Pate.
Then you find out after signing day, which I think was timed purposefully, that he is fired for cause. This is just reading their language, an inappropriate relationship with a staffer. Have every reason to believe that's accurate. And that this is one of those really interesting dynamics where there was a wild rumor circulating behind the scenes and it was accurate. This is what myself, several other people had heard a month ago. So the only question was going to be, do they really pull the trigger on it? Just because you have cause to fire someone doesn't mean you do. So I wasn't privy to the inner workings of Michigan, and I didn't know if they were, but the word was they were going to. Let me put it this way. Agents have expected the Michigan job to be coming open for several weeks now. That's been expected behind the scenes. Then you find out after signing day, which I think was timed purposefully, that he is fired for cause. This is just reading their language, an inappropriate relationship with a staffer.
Okay, you can stop it there. Okay, so Devin, tell me what you think.
Well, listen, not only that, Justin Spiro also spoke today, and he first reported on this August 15th. And he made it very clear to let people know that these aren't Michigan State sources. These aren't Ohio State sources. The people he is hearing from is people inside the program, right? The Michigan program. So on August 15th, people from inside that program are reaching out to Spiro, letting him know these things. And that's wild. You hear people talking today about state employee due process, all of these things. But listen, man, like when evidence like this comes up, and some of their fans are also talking about they did an internal investigation, and their internal investigation brought up nothing, right? So all this is going on, all these messages on Instagram, all these OnlyFans people are coming out now, allegedly all these things are happening. And you mean to tell me that a perfectly timed, right? Not only that, man, but you brought up right after they lose to Ohio State, all these other Rich Eisenhower and all these other Michigan people are just now hearing about it for the first time. Like you brought up something on your Twitter page, like, hey, man, now they're starting their, move to get Chiron Moore out of there. But I do not buy for 1 second that they just did that new evidence all of a sudden popped up, right, that forced their hand to do this. Now, part of it could make sense that she's going to come forward and do this, but no, man, this stuff started August 15th. If you're that university and you really want to find the truth out, if people that aren't even connected to that program, but people inside your program are reaching out to other people to report on it, then if you have any amount of integrity inside that program, you will do the digging and you will find out. This is a program, right, that did the largest cheating scandal, right, that required a lot of work, a lot of intelligence, a lot of all these things to come together, and you can't find out that your head coach is allegedly sleeping with a staffer. You're telling me you can do all these things, but you can't find out the truth, and you all of a sudden, after you lose to Ohio State, after signing day goes around, now all of a sudden this piece of evidence comes out that forces your hand, no, man, take that somewhere else, bro. And that's what all their fans are relying on too, man. You brought up a good point earlier. And last night on the show, I was begging people. I was like, listen, right? Part of the issue here is these talking heads, the Portnoys, all these other people, all these fans follow them with all these, and all they're focused on now is trying to say that, well, Chiron Moore wasn't the coach when he went over to her house. He was already fired. And hey, what are you supposed to do? We did an investigation. Nothing came out of the investigation. So the university's hands are tied, all these other things. It's like, bro, they're continuing the same path, zero integrity. You're not going to convince me. All these people are coming out. Josh Pate hears about it from agents. Rich Eisenhower gets 4 text messages. Justin Spiro is talking about it on August 15th. Like, it's so obvious to everybody else. Yet the own university can't conduct an investigation worthwhile enough to find out the truth. Like, you're playing us for absolute idiots, if you ask me. And the problem is that most absolute idiots, they listen to idiots like Scam Webb, who comes out, calls you ignorant, Spiro ignorant, everybody else ignorant, saying this is a lie. All their insiders on the message boards getting on there saying, man, it's such a disgrace, all this. I saw people on Twitter have to tweet back out an apology to Chiron Moore when these allegations first came out, and they're true. You know what I'm saying? This whole thing is ludicrous. It's ludicrous, bro.
Perfect. Okay, perfect segue. Bring up the screen again. One more video. So we have Sam Webb. Everyone knows the infamous Sam Webb thing where he basically denied everything, said there's no imminent firing. It's right underneath the you'll see me repost the Spiro tweet, and then right underneath that. Yeah. So anyways, Sam Webb had that infamous tweet, and it's underneath the one that he basically says this is a rumor, this is blah blah blah. He's not getting fired. I vetted the claims myself, right? And this is just not true, you know? So he goes out and he says that. Well, anyways, he goes on his show because he got humiliated when this came out, because he said that like 3 days before this came out. So anyways, this guy, Brian Cook, is another Michigan insider. So some of the Michigan guys are pushing back. So watch him own Sam Webb right here. Like, this is hilarious.
Reported last week to answer someone's question. I said no credible evidence of a relationship was found.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that it was that they, it's not the same thing as saying that they didn't have one, because that would just be relying on their word. That's saying that Michigan looked into it and they couldn't find to support that they were actually in a relationship. People suspected, people thought they were, but there was no evidence that said that they were. So,
I mean, at this point, I just don't have faith in Warde Manuel because of what he did with Mel Pearson. Like, I just don't trust him. I don't trust him in this regard at all. Like, he sat on that report that was a clear firing offense for Mel Pearson and didn't want to fire him for months and months and months. Mel Pearson was out of contract. And when it was finally clear to him that he could no longer have that man as his hockey coach, he was forced into going with an interim, and he lucked out because Brandon Navarro was that dude. But that process was terrible. And now we have another internal investigation that results in this. And I just, given what happened earlier, I just have absolutely no faith that this was handled appropriately. And I know that you were lied to by various people, and that's not fair to you. And I just can't.
The only one that
how many more DUIs does this department need to have?
The only one that I can say lied to me was Chiron.
Okay. Can you be able to read that at least?
Yeah, no, I watched it earlier. I know exactly the conversation. I know what it said. I watched them all earlier. He's like, listen, I know several people lied to you, Sam. Like, what is going on? How does this dude, how does anybody listen to him anymore? I don't get it. What are we doing? People actually pay to listen to this dude talk. They legit do. This is a problem. This is a big problem. He's not the only one either, man. He's not the only one.
Trevor McHugh's one of the worst. I mean, the bottom line is We call them the blue wall, and it's not because we don't like them. It's literally a blue wall. They're the People's Republic of Ann Arbor. They literally just are propaganda. I mean, that's why um, other forms of Michigan media, like Steve Diaz, is so popular because at least he's good at give you his own take. Like none of these guys have their own take. They just tell what they're being told. But the interesting part about that, so me, I like to just kind of stick with what the facts and evidence are telling me. Okay. So Mel
Yeah.
Pearson, this guy who's a Michigan insider, says this is very similar to the Mel Pearson situation. So I'm like, oh, Mel Pearson, what's that situation, right? So they had a similar thing where Mel Pearson, their hockey coach, had all these allegations against him from people who were on staff, okay, similar, and about a toxic environment and cover-ups during the virus period, right? And anyways, they didn't properly investigate that, right? He dragged his feet on that until his hand was forced, and then finally Warde fired him. So we have a history here of Michigan, or not, or say Warde man or whatever. We have a history of them not investigating claims properly, and whether they decided we're not going to investigate this unless he loses to Ohio State, I don't know. I don't know, but it sure is convenient, the timing. And it sure is interesting that this has happened before. Not to mention all the other issues like Xavier Simpson and Warde Manuel's car. Like, what was that about? I mean, there's so many problems and so many scandals, and it's all the same thing. They just lie. Their media then goes out and lies for them, and then they just expect their fan base, basically, you will follow suit. And I will give credit to some. I've seen, because of how serious this guy, I have seen some Michigan fans be like, hey man, I'm sorry for calling you mentally ill. You guys are right. We need to fix our program. I've seen people, a lot of people actually during this, say, I am sick of this. I'm sick of all the scandals. I'm sick that we're constantly being made fun of, right? Because they are the laughing stock of college sports. So some people are sticking up, but I have a feeling now, and you guys can keep an eye on this. I got a pretty good pulse of these people. I think what's going to happen is, now that they basically said we did everything right, and they lawyered up with a fantastic law firm, by the way, I think they're going to all now say, nope, nobody knew anything about it. These are just rumors because people seen his OnlyFans, and then they're gonna preach the party line. I just have a feeling that's the way it's gonna go. Like another lone wolf, Chiron Moore, right? Lone wolf, Chiron Moore. Just add him to the list. Like, oh
Yeah. Dude, you cannot hide behind this anymore. Jim, Moore, Stallions, Minter, Clinksdale, Weiss, Ono, McQuain, Costner, that's the CMU guys, Craig Scruggs, Denard Robinson, Chris Partridge, Alex Hughes, Fergus Connolly, Jim Minnick. I mean, dude, listen, this is coming from the top, right? This has to be. It's from the top down, is absolutely somebody at the top, the group of people at the top is okay with operating, right? A program like this, because you cannot convince me. That's the other thing, Intrinsic. How does Warde still have a job? Like, I'm not sure that he will, right? Like, people will report things today, then somebody came out, reported, hey, no, he's still got a job. Here's another example of, if they fire Warde, then what's that going to do? It's going to put him in a really bad spot to go out and hire a new coach. So could you see them doing this again, with holding on to their athletic director just long enough until they can get a good coach acquired, and then all of a sudden something's going to come out, something's going to happen, and they're going to let go of Warde? Because you cannot make this stuff up. This is beyond the rivalry. This is beyond my dislike I have for that program. Just go read. Just do your research. This is non-stop with this program. Nobody there wants to stop it. Everybody wants to listen to Portnoy. Portnoy's first response to this was, hey, Jeffrey Dahmer graduated from Ohio State. You don't hear me bringing that up. Legit. Now, listen, I know that's part of his charade, okay? But the thing is what he doesn't realize is it's not a charade to a lot of the people that follow him. They buy into that stuff. It sinks into their brain, man, and makes them blind. They start buying into it. They believe it. There are still people out there hating on Justin Spiro for reporting the truth. There are still people out there hating on you for simply reporting the truth. The Alex Ude stuff, they knew about that, did not report on that. Like, what's going on here? This comes from the top down, and the top is still there. So I am completely convinced until that happens, I want it to happen, because at this point, Intrinsic, when parents let their kids go to college, when these young men go to college, it forms who they are, right? Who they hang around during that time, who their coach is, who their teachers are. That like all little pieces of those people form who those men are going to become. What kind of men is that program raising out of there? Well, with what we've seen come out of that program for the last 4 years, I don't like the odds, right? And that sucks, man, because at the human level, you got to care about these young men and what you're putting them around. And look at their role models. Look at their last 2 head coaches. Jim Harbaugh's not allowed to coach NCAA football anymore. He's got 14 years of show causes. Their last one, Moore, we know what he's going through. Like, what are we doing here? Does anybody there give a dang? I got to know, does anybody give a dang there about the human level of this and what they're doing? Because as of now, conveniently waiting till after signing day. Yes, I know there's the portal. Yes, I know all these things, but still, man, conveniently waiting. And dude, they interviewed all the recruits. This caught every one of them by complete surprise. It caught their tight end, Max Lund, whatever his name is, Max. He's gone. He's out of his letter. Hyder came out and announced he wasn't, but he was. He was reaching out, caught off by this. But that when you throw that money in some of these recruits' faces, they'll put up with anything. But that's a problem. You got to pay a recruit to hang around such a filthy program that allows these things to happen. And the issue is, man, is, you know, it's beyond football at this point. They need to clear house. Like the fact that Manuel Warde is still there, maybe it's coming from above his head. Maybe all the donors around them are just so obsessed with their football program, so obsessed with the rivalry, so obsessed with winning that they say, man, screw kids and these families. We don't care. We care about winning. So let's keep Warde Manuel until we get a coach. And then, right, we've already seen them. They're starting to put out stuff now about Warde Manuel allegedly going and firing Moore on his own without security, without help, without HR, without all this alleged reporting going on now. So it's almost like there's a little something going on now where they're pushing him now, but they don't want to push too hard because they still don't have a football coach. Like, what are we doing here, man? What's your thoughts on all that?
Well, I have so many thoughts. So for a few things, so I'm just someone, I try to be logical and to put things together. So when I say things, a lot of this are my opinion. And if you just think with your mind and connect the dots, you can see kind of what's happening. And I said, when Moore was first hired, I said he is the fall guy. I said that many times. He is the fall guy. He is there to stand in place for the sanctions until they can get a reputable coach. Because a reputable coach is not going to come in there not knowing what's going to happen from those sanctions. So, okay, Moore, he's a lineman. He's kind of like Harbaugh. He can come in and fill in that role, right? And they ignored the fact that having a repeat offender as a coach who's already been in trouble for destroying evidence and stuff like that, that's a problem. But regardless, anyway, so I think this has been their plan. I said he was gone by year 3. The moment he was hired, I said that. And it's happened. Yep. So it's so funny how many things you can just be like, this is going to happen, and it happens because they're so obvious with some of what they do. But okay, so my angle is with Warde Manuel. Ross Dellinger said that he's being capped. So Ross Dellinger's as good as they get. I'm assuming they're still keeping Warde Manuel. Now you're saying possibly this is until they hire a coach, and then maybe they're going to fire him. But I think with the new coach, he has to know who leadership will be there. because he doesn't want to have a new AD, right? A good coach isn't going to want to come in and then face a new AD. So where my mind is at, again, guys, this is my opinion. Everything I'm saying is my opinion, okay? My opinion, and you can see this because they took down Warde Manuel's picture from their staff list, but Matt Weiss's picture is still up there. I think the Matt Weiss situation, no, seriously, I think the Matt Weiss situation, a lot of you guys are not thinking about. Warde Manuel is being sued. The board, who would be responsible for firing Warde Manuel, is being sued, as is Jim Harbaugh, right? And obviously Matt Weiss. So I think, right, not said me saying they're guilty or anything, but what I think is that if you fire Warde Manuel for mishandling Chiron Moore, that does not look good for Warde Manuel mishandling Matt Weiss. You see what I'm saying?
You on to something
and
there.
they got really good lawyers. Those those lawyers they're talking about.
Yeah.
They may be the same lawyers who are working on the Matt White case that just advised them. Because clearly they spoke with lawyers. You can see that in the Coles. So this is my opinion, connecting dots, right? That firing Warde Manuel brings on more risk to what could be, their last lawsuit for troubles with Dr. Anderson was $500 million. And now we have inflation and all that. And this is, 1,300 to 3,300 victims. Okay. So we're talking about a lot of money in those Matt Weiss lawsuits. And I think that firing Warde Manuel, although many, I do believe at Michigan probably feel that's the right idea, but I think that it opens them up in their lawsuit case. I think a lot of what's going on is strategic planning. Hopefully we don't see any more of this stuff, and hopefully I'm sure that this is the hope with the Michigan's camp, is that this was Jim Harbaugh, his culture was this, and Chiron Moore was a product of Jim Harbaugh. So their problems are isolated with the Harbaugh family tree, let's just say, right? And hopefully they could bring in a coach that isn't about that. And I hope they do that. As a rival, I hope Michigan does do that. They bring in a coach and this stuff is over because, like you said, these are players. Like Bryce Underwood, I like making fun of him because he can't throw a football very well. But I don't want to see anything bad happen to these kids.
No.
And also I respect Michigan as an institution. Like my mom, like she died of cancer, but she did have like procedures there. They have a great hospital. Like there's good things about that university. And I just don't, they're doing all this for football. It's just completely insane to me. The athletic department is like out of control and it's really hurting their reputation nationwide. Because this is on Good Morning America, right? Like,
yeah, bro.
This is
everything was on Good Morning America. They didn't just talk about the Chiron Moore stuff. They gave the list, man. They gave the whole list.
Because it is a list, right? It is a list. Like all these things, for you to say that all of these are lone wolves and all of these situations are not a sign of something larger is just completely ignoring that there's a problem at that university. There just is a problem. It's a culture problem, and they don't have a media that holds them accountable. Like if Ryan Day did this, okay, say Ryan Day had a but just say he for instance was following people on OnlyFans. And they said, hey, man, we see you're following, like EJ Holland told Chris Balas, like back in July, he's following a bunch of OnlyFans models, right? So wouldn't at least someone say, hey, dude, you need to delete that, right? Like, I get Ryan Day wouldn't do that. I'm just talking about hypothetical. Like any other program, like you would hold them accountable. Like you would report that this is happening, right? Like you wouldn't just hide this stuff. Like they're talking about how they knew, but no one spoke up. Why didn't anybody tell us that there's issues were going on? Where's their media? And they're all bragging about how they know about it, but they're not bragging about why they didn't report on it, right? And that's half the problem. It just enables everybody. And so, go ahead.
Intrinsic, listen. I've been putting a little bit of thought into this, not a whole lot, but if you think about it like this, right? What would make sense? Why would they hold this stuff back, going all the way back to every other thing that they've done? Why have they done the cheating scandal, the holding things back? Because if it comes out, what's it going to hurt? It's going to hurt their football program. It's going to hurt their football program. But if it comes out in the correct way, right, that's better for the players. That's better for the families. That's honesty. That's better for the people involved. So in one case, and this is what they're operating on, I fully believe, is they're winning on the football field, beating Ohio State is number one on their list. Success is number one on their list, and it doesn't matter who, what, when, where, or why gets in the way. If they actually put, like you hear about the culture at Ohio State, you hear about Ryan Day talking about mental health all the time and all that stuff. If they put that first, the real life stuff first, their mission should be to raise men the right way, bring men up in a godly, Christ-like, even if it's not that way, in a good way, man. That should be the number one mission. If that was their number one mission, these things would not be being held back. The first inkling that their head coach, who is leading all these young men, is doing something nefarious, all hell should have came down. A huge investigation, an investigation that if a couple YouTubers and Twitter people can find out the truth, then gosh darn, they should have found out the truth a whole lot earlier than signing day. But I truly believe that they have everything revolves around the success of their football program. That is their identity, and their identity is in the wrong place. It just is, man. When you put your identity in these worldly things, man, you soon will fall. That's a promise. It's written somewhere. For those of you that know, you know. When you put your identity elsewhere where it should be and raising these men the right way, then yeah, you're going to face some consequences along the way, but not all this, man. For instance, if they would have cleared house like they should have a long time ago, would we be dealing with this Chiron Moore mess? No. If the NCAA would have done their job, if Michigan would have done their job, this wouldn't be a thing. You know, I'm not saying Chiron Moore would have done it somewhere else. Not saying that. But I believe this wouldn't be a thing. These current players on the roster, these current signees, they wouldn't be in this situation. They just wouldn't be here because Chiron Moore's got show causes, suspensions, all that. Why are you keeping somebody like that around your program? Warde Manuel, been involved in all these things. Why are you keeping somebody like that around your program? You got young men's lives in the palm of your hand, and you're keeping somebody like that around your program. And when you hear all their insiders, and not all their fans, I agree with you. There are some coming out now saying, dude, this is disgusting. I'm fed up with this program, which applause to you guys. But the other side of them, they don't think about that at all, man. They're focused on winning football. Hey, all right, let's move on. I don't care if Warde Manuel stays or goes. All I care about is, hey, let's get a good football coach. Well, I get that part. But more importantly, clean the trash up, man. There's been trash non-stop, bro. I mean, even the point you brought up about the Matt Weiss stuff, it's so hard to keep track of this stuff, dude. There's so many angles involved in it that, you know, I think you dig deep enough, you find out why Warde Manuel is still there. I know yours is an opinion, and that's what you think, but by gosh, those dots connect pretty perfectly to me. And I think my dots of they got their goals wrong. They're just so obsessed with the football side of it that supersedes everything else by a long, long mile. And every decision they make is based off of, will it hurt our football program? It is not based off of, will it hurt these football players? It's my opinion.
Yeah, and bottom line, it's just not the right way to do things. And it doesn't lead to success long term. So I don't know what they're going to be looking for in a new coach. I don't know what kind of coach wants to do that. But really, it's very clear if they hire the wrong guy, this is going to happen again. Because Warde Manuel, the institution is not going to hold their coach accountable if something weird happens. That's the bottom line. Like, they're supposed to have a compliance department that looks at all these things and checks over, and there's supposed to be oversight. I mean, like, they had a relationship, nobody noticed. No, they didn't have, like, I don't feel like they can anonymously report things and not face getting in trouble. Like, I don't know. I just feel like the whole system's broken there under Ward Manuel. And that was the piece they really needed to fix is like 11 years and how many scandals has this guy gone through? And like, and I think a lot of the alumni are fed up, and a lot of these people that are doing this, I don't think a lot of Michigan fans, they have no affiliation to school, which is fine. You don't have to go to your school, but these people like they wrap their identity around a school they've never gone to, and like they make it like their whole life, and it's just weird. And bottom line, I just think that part of this is just sad. I just think it just really is sad because like they're a rival. Like I want these people to respect them as a rival. It's like literally all they are is scandals. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So
Intrinsic, I got two more questions for you and we'll wrap this thing up. The first thing I want to ask you, man, is now they're in a dilemma of, we're talking football now. Now they're in a dilemma of, well, what football coach do they hire? Let me ask you, right? Like, what kind of football coach is going to walk into this situation? Because the Matt Weiss stuff, all these things going on, and it just feels like, yes, they are a good program in the sense of they've got support, they've got history in college football, so I could see how most people would think it's a top 10 college football job in the nation. That's an opinion by a lot of people, not by me, but a lot of people think that. So it's like, is a coach really going to go there based off that? Or are you going to have to offer a coach a large amount of money? Well, obviously you are going to, but if a coach is going to come there for the money, then is he going to get, Ward Manuel's still there. I think you know where I'm trying to go with this. I'm not explaining it very good, but
no, I understand.
What kind of coach is going to walk into this, man? Seriously.
Yeah, I think a coach who the type of coach is going to take this job is someone who is successful independently, that they're going to walk in and they're going to demand full donor support like Michigan State just did, right? Where, hey, there wasn't a lot of donor enthusiasm for Moore, despite what, them paying Bryce Underwood. There wasn't a whole lot of institutional support for giving him a lot of money because he clearly didn't have it. But I think the type of coach that's going to go in there is a coach that is like, okay, I understand that it might be a little rocky for the first year or two, but they're going to have full donor support and they're going to guarantee that. I think that's going to be their sales pitch is we're going to back you with a lot of money and you're in the Big Ten and this is a school that's a top 10 program, yada, 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 top 10 revenue. So they have like the financial ability to attract a coach, I believe. So,
but at the same time, isn't the coach going to have to accept that Ward Manuel is your boss? Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
They're gonna have to talk. They're gonna have to talk about it. He's gonna have to talk like, what type of help are you gonna give me? Because, this is something that a coach is gonna have to make a very personal decision about whether he wants to. And I do believe on that note, I do believe there's coaches that absolutely would not coach at Michigan. Like a lot of them are saying Matt Campbell. Like, I don't know. Matt Campbell, like, okay, he's a very good coach in my opinion, Matt Campbell. That's another issue. But I don't know. Some of these guys, they seem like they're actually good guys, right? Like they're good people. Like Matt Campbell seems like he's a good person, a good leader. And like, I just feel like those type of guys, I don't know why they would want to go there because it's just so corrupt. Like I wouldn't want to be around that personally. I feel like it just wears off on me.
That's the main point I'm making here. It's like, okay, if you're a good guy, good coach, good morals, good ethics, and you walk into a program that the dude above your head is not going to hold people accountable for those things, you're going to be in a position where you're not going to be able to hold them accountable. You're not the AD. You're going to have to sit back and watch these things play out while Ward Manuel operates the way he's been operating the entire time, allegedly. Right?
So the needle they're going to have to thread is like, okay, like someone like Lane Kiffin will make a ton of sense, right? But of course, he's not going to go there, and they can't hire someone like Lane Kiffin. And obviously, I want to be in the SEC, but you can't hire someone that has these off-field issues because the PR on that would just be awful. Like someone mentioned PJ Fleck. Well, he has some scandals that he went through, right? So they're going to have to find a coach that doesn't have these scandals, but is willing to be a part of something that in itself is a scandal. I believe coaches very well. I mean, that's the problem. They're the thread the needle, and also the players. Like a lot of these. I mean, come on, this happened after. Okay, Michigan didn't know until after signing day. How convenient, right? Like these players, poor them, they can't even enter the portal until the new coach is hired. Like 5 days afterwards, and so it's just like. I feel bad for their players. Like, Bryce Underwood, he takes down his Michigan stuff, right? He's supposed to be playing in a game here coming up. Like, how weird is this situation?
Hey.
And this is a Michigan type of situation. This is a Michigan man problem right here.
Yeah. Let me tell you the timeline that's about to happen. The portal opens January 2nd, right? Once a new coach is hired into the program, those players, 5 days after he's hired, have the ability to enter the portal. So don't be surprised if 5 days before the portal opens, December 27th, whenever that day is, December 28th, they magically find a coach to hire. That way, the portal opens for their players the same time it opens for everybody else in the nation, because timing has been awfully convenient for them. In a way, it's been awfully convenient that in a very bad situation, the timing has worked out perfectly for their football program. Again, keep an eye on this, guys. Perfectly for their football program. For their football program. That's what it is. Intrinsic, let me ask you this last thing, man, because obviously the situation with Chiron, and all the alleged things going around about the timeline, how long allegedly didn't the university know about it? If they knew about it, why are they letting him go now? What's going on there? And they fire him for cause. Now Chiron flips out. Are they going to be walking on eggshells in a sense of your fall guy now is a guy that knows everything? That knows everything that has gone on inside that program. Is there potential here for this to get even uglier for this school, or is that why they're bringing in this law firm right now to try to work this out? That way Chiron doesn't decide to pass over the information about Blake Corum's LLC, and they finally do get their false natty stripped away? Or what's your opinion here, man?
So my opinion on the NCAA is they had everything on them on the last one, but I will say it is objectively worse for them to be playoff eligible, right? Not make the playoffs and still have to pay the fine. That is objectively worse. So actually, life gave them a worse punishment than what they deserved. But as far as Chiron Moore, that's what I posted. Moore has a story to tell here, and I have some sympathy. I have some sympathy for him, because what happened that caused this man to allegedly do the things that he did, right? Like maybe he was just like that. There's some reports that he had mental problems, but was he driven over the edge? Like what? He has a story to tell, and part of that story might be why he deleted those text messages. Why'd he delete that evidence, right? Like, Stallions was awfully close to this guy. Like we've seen pictures of that, right? Like he was close to all the coordinators. Like what did these people know? Maybe he wants to be the first one to tell us, because pending his charges, what if he's facing a home invasion, which is like very, very serious. Okay, if you do a home invasion with a deadly weapon, can be up to a 20-year prison sentence, and most people serve 8 to 12 years as first-time offenders unless they cut a deal.
In the county that he's in, if you got a big name, they're out to max you.
Oh, really? We'll have to see what the charges, and also the fact that he's not. Maybe he's on some type of suicide thing. A lot of this we're just trying to figure out. But regardless, if Moore's facing significant time and he feels like Michigan did him wrong, okay, he has a lot of incentive. And what does he have to lose just to talk out? And that's why I think Michigan, in my opinion, is really buttoning down the hatches with these lawyers and I mean, this is a very guys, look into this law firm that Nicole Auerbach posted. Very, very competent
Yeah.
law firm. And I think
And
that I mean, if he just imagine if he speaks out and there will be people looking to talk to him too and get his side of the
oh,
story.
for
That's big
sure.
time news. Just like they want to talk to Stallion so bad, they'll want to talk to Moore. So I hope that's what happens.
Yeah. Intrinsic, I think I just made a decision. I think I'm going to sell my businesses and dedicate the rest of my life to finding that pond that Connor Stallions threw that laptop in. And I'm going to go find that thing because water's not going to destroy that hard drive all the way. You know what I mean? Have you watched Mission Impossible? They can get anything off a computer. You can burn that thing and they'll still find something. So I feel like that'd be a good business move. If you find that pond and you get that laptop, bro, let me
It's
know
in
if you're interested in
Belleville.
partnering up.
It's in Belleville. Yeah, and it's also you're not allowed to do that. The DNR in Michigan, you're not allowed to do that anyway. You're not allowed to throw materials like that into a pond. But regardless, that's just a silly thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, we all we all know what happened here, right? Like we all know what happened with that situation. It's a Michigan, this is karma. This is literally karma. And as much as I do not like Michigan, right? It sucks that this happened with Moore. It really sucks. Like I feel for his family. Like, I feel like his wife and children, if this is true, did not deserve any of this. And I just fear that I'm going to be coming back on your guys' shows with no more problems with this. Like honestly, like it literally like takes up all my day when this crap happens. So,
Yep.
anyways, yeah, we'll see. This is still a developing story, so who knows what comes out. I mean, I guess Moore's like gonna be. We'll find out his charges soon if he's facing a home invasion and whatnot. We'll see. Crazy stuff. Crazy
Can you
times we
can
live
you
in.
imagine like man when I was I've watched Scarface and Blow and all those movies and it's like man they got a lot of things going on in there. It's just like dude, somebody made this into a 5 series show or even a movie or something, dude. I'm watching it. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't make this
Yeah.
stuff. Just intrinsic last thing. Just this is how life works. This is just what it is, man. People never get caught for everything they do. If they get caught, it's more than likely the third, fourth, or fifth time they did it. Unless you're me, I get caught. Ask my aunt; she's in the chat. I get caught if I do anything. But that's just how it goes, man. Just these are the things we know. Just let that sink in for a second. These
Yeah.
are the things that we know, and we have. I mean, your post that you got on Twitter that you keep adding to about all these names, bro. You got to scroll pretty far down to get to the bottom at this point, dude. It's getting out of control, man. It's getting out of control. So, I mean, imagine the things that we don't know at this point. It's pretty wild. But Intrinsic, dude, I appreciate you for coming on as always. I would like to tell you, probably won't see you again, but in this context, I'd like to get on here and talk some
Yeah.
football with you one day. But I doubt that happens. We'll be back on here again covering, something that comes out of this. And I do hope, man. I hope for these players and the family's sakes that Michigan changes their ways, they clear house, and they start doing things different. But it doesn't seem that they're doing that at this point in time. It seems like they're going to operate the same way they've always operated, and that is what is best for our football program. Intrinsic, final thoughts, brother.
No, no. Thanks for having me on. And yeah, I just think if you're listening to this, I mean, you all, if I don't know how old everyone is, but literally doing things the hard way and the right way, that pays off in the end, right? Any promise of short-term success or short-term gains, you pay for it. Nothing in life is free. So I think this is a great example. Like maybe we didn't get everything we wanted with the NCAA lawsuit. I mean, NCAA decisions, but look at this came back to get them even worse, and they celebrated something that was that bad on their program. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. Enjoy. Good luck in your guys' playoffs. We'll be watching. I look forward to that, and thank you for having me on. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Yes, sir. We'll catch you next time, Intrinsic.
Yeah.
Buckeye fans, I promise you one day we're going to get back to some Buckeye news around here. I will not be on this weekend. This is my last show for the week, but I'll be back on Monday. I have a notebook full of updates with the team, updates with the transfer portal. Got a text today about some players that are already in the portal, 2 in particular, that the Buckeyes have reached out and made some not really. You're not allowed to do that yet till January 2nd, so never mind. They haven't reached out. But I got 2 players that I believe the Buckeyes will probably be interested in through the back doors of seeing if they want to maybe come play for the Buckeyes. New starter. Certain starter got injured. I'm sure you guys have read about that already, but it's looking like we're going to have a different offensive line, men playing. We'll dive into all that stuff, man. If you're watching on Scoop, please go over to the Buckeye Boys, man. Hit the subscribe button over there. Hit the like button over there. If you're on Scoop, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button as well. I realize that I said I was only streaming on Buckeye Boys today. I could have swore that's what I was doing because their show went a little over, but I'm just now realizing that I've been on Scoop this entire time as well. So I apologize for the mixed messages in the chat. But again, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button as well. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, hit that subscribe, hit that like button. If you are not a part of the Buckeye Scoop message board, I implore you, go over there, subscribe, try it for a month. If you don't like it, leave. But you're going to like it and you're not going to leave, man. I've been over there for years now, and it's the place to be if you like Ohio State football and all this other news that's going on. But again, appreciate all your guys' support. No doubt. Love you guys. Go Buckeyes. OH.